Yo, are you there?
Yep.
All right. Uh, well, let's see. Where did I put everything? Everything disappeared. Uh, as per usual. All right. So you can start a little bit with who you are. Um, your nickname is Bates, and you, as I know it, writes for Dead Entertainment. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yeah, that's just a nickname I've been going by for God, I don't know, 15 years.
Yeah. Well, and you do YouTube content and you stream on YouTube.
Yes, when I have free time, I try to stream on YouTube as much as I can, which isn't very much lately.
Yeah, I would say I understand that kind of problem. I think a lot of people have that when having regular work and stuff as well. Uh, but you write for Dead Entertainment, so you're into horror movies, considering your nickname as well. Uh, what what got you into horror movies?
Um, well, growing up, when I was a kid, I don't know, probably about 5 or 6 years old, I have an older brother and an older sister, and they would occasionally, when they had to, kind of watch over me or babysit me, they would torture me by uh, making me watch horror movies
All right.
that they knew would scare me as a kid. And the two that I remember most vividly of them making me watch was A Nightmare on Elm Street
Yeah.
and Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And yeah, but and they both messed me up pretty good when I was, again, about 5 or 6 years old. But when I got to about, I don't know, I'd say about 8, maybe 9 years old, I started kind of like growing into them. Um, we used to go to a video rental store probably about 2 or 3 times a month, and I would always go over to the horror section, and I would always pick up the VHS covers and look at all the covers, and that's what always drew me to horror. It was just those amazing VHS cover arts.
Yeah, but isn't that a little bit like you're just accepting your trauma and just rolling with it? It's uh,
I guess it's funny. If you kind of think about it, it's sort of how for anyone familiar with the Matt Hooper character from Jaws,
yeah.
when Chief Brody asked him how he got into sharks, he explains that they were on a fishing trip and they hooked a thresher shark, and the thresher shark destroyed their boat, and it traumatized him. But ever since that point, he, wanted to learn and study sharks. And I guess that's kind of the same thing. I was traumatized by horror movies as a little kid, and now I grew up. I just kind of grew into them and accepted them.
Yeah, I mean, because that is a lot different from my experience when I grew up. Where my mom doesn't really like it, but she likes horror movies. But my dad doesn't like horror movies, so she never watched horror movies, regularly. And then it was more like she did it when my dad went to sleep. So I sneaked up during the night and watched horror movies, behind the couch without her knowing it. I was about 10 years old when I saw Alien the first time, I think, and it just I was fascinated by that, like the movie overall. So like I was 10, and after that it just grew on me to started watching horror movies. I had some friends that had recorded horror movies on their VHSs. So we just sat in their rooms and watching horror movies like Halloween or Alien, or well, eventually like Starship Troopers. Everything with blood was just awesome to see, because you weren't supposed to see it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we got to see that. And I remember the only time I think I've been almost traumatized by a horror movie is I think when we got a hold of a copy of the August Underground collection. Don't watch those movies. They're terrible, awful, awful. They just made out to be like snuff films.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are made out to be supposedly real snuff films. And I mean, when they say they tried to make them real, they fucking did it because that I had tried seeing them in like when I've gotten older as well, and they are a little bit too realistic. Like you can't really tell if it's actually a horror movie or just some fucker that had that camera in his basement torturing people. And So I think that's the only time I only be traumatized. But then again, I didn't start out as hardcore as you with Nightmare on Elm Street when I'm 6. That that
Yeah, it was.
that would fuck me up if I watched it when I was 6. That I am positive of that.
Yeah, it was definitely rough, and it definitely scared me for probably a good year or two. More so Killer Clowns messed me up more.
Yeah, Killer Clowns is fucked up. I mean, it's a great horror comedy, but if you're small, like as you said, like 6 or 7 years old, you're not developed enough to get the comical sense of those scary ass clowns.
No,
It's
not at
like
all.
uh, so so yeah, I can really imagine how terrorized you were by that. Yeah, that's fucked up. But well, well, now you enjoy horror movies at least.
Yeah, as I said, once I got about 9, 10 years old, just going to the video store and seeing all the VHS covers. And then eventually, that was around the time that the internet started really becoming a thing. And when I was about 14, 15 years old, I started going to my first horror conventions. And luckily, where I live in New Jersey, I was right around the corner from one of the biggest and original horror conventions, Chiller Theater.
Oh yeah,
And
right.
yep, so that Chiller Theater convention, even to this day, it's still 15 minutes away from me. So I would have my parents, drive me over and drop me off on a Saturday afternoon when they were doing a convention when I was 14, 15 years old. And I actually started writing for one of the original horror sites back when I was around that age, a horror site called diabolicaldominion.com, which predates Bloody Disgusting and Dread Central and all those other sites. I was writing for them for a little while before they went under.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, living as I do in fucking Sweden, it's we don't have we do have the sci-fi fair, like the sci-fi convention, which usually includes horror movies.
Yes.
But we don't have horror film festivals in that sense. I guess we're not big enough of a country. Like we are in total 9 million people, so it's like, who the fuck is gonna go watch that? It would be me and 40 other dudes. It's like, and so I get why we don't have those conventions, right? But it's kind of boring at the same time because I would really like to. Yeah, yeah. We do have the sci-fi convention twice a year. I mean, yeah, we do have that, but we don't have, like, what I miss with this country or Europe in general is these film festivals in which you get to see new indie movies. Like I see a lot. You have Canadian film festivals, and you have U.S. film festivals or whatever, and you see all these new horror movies, and I either have to wait for them to be widely released or never see them at all because they don't get a wide release. And that really sucks. So living so close to a convention sounds really cool. Because do they sell like DVDs and stuff in those places as well?
Um, so, for anyone not familiar with how a typical horror convention works,
Yeah.
basically it's they have two main sections. They have a section for all of their guests, which includes stars from the movies and stuff. For an example, the convention I'm going to in March is going to have their headlining guests are Tim Curry and John Carpenter. They're going to be there signing autographs and stuff.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Um, then the other part of the convention is the vendor hall and the vendor rooms. And these are all kinds of independent vendors who come in and they set up tables. And if you've ever seen like pictures of Comic Con and stuff, it's just like that. They'll have DVDs, they have posters, T-shirts, artwork, collectible figures, all kinds of crazy stuff. Troma always has a big table selling their stuff. Um, it's pretty much anything and everything you could possibly want. Then on top of all of that, they usually do films in another room all day long and well into the night. And then they have another room where they just do panels with the guests. The panels will come in, the guests will come in and do Q&As for about an hour. So
Yeah.
these conventions offer quite a lot to do for the weekend.
Yeah. That sounds fucking amazing. Like, I wouldn't have enough money to be in the vendor hall because it would be like, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. I wouldn't be able to stop myself. Someone would have to bludgeon me after a while.
Yeah, it's I usually try to go in with only like a couple $100 in my pocket, and once it's gone, it's gone. I can't, like, I have to set a budget for myself when I go.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. The thing was, me and, as you see, Arthur here in chat, we were down on a video game convention, like a retro game convention, and I found this table with horror figurines. So, and I bought the Alien Queen
Okay.
that they had. But I only bought that one because I was like, I cannot buy anything else. Like just that one because I was gonna go ham on that on their table otherwise. And it was like, yeah, I need to go now. So we went on and looked on video games instead. Because otherwise, I wouldn't have any money to go back home. It's it's
Yeah,
dangerous.
no, it really is, and especially at these conventions when they have all kinds of stars and guests that you really want to meet, because you're like, oh, I want to get, maybe you have a DVD or a poster you want to get signed by somebody who's going to be there, and then you
Yeah,
go and then you find out that an autograph is going to cost $40-50 per person. It adds up so quickly. I mean, like. As I said, Tim Curry is going to be at the next convention I'm going to, and he's not going to be doing live signing because he has health issues. He's in a wheelchair right now. He had a massive stroke not long ago,
oh yeah, I read about that.
so he has pre-signed stuff that he'll sell at the table, but he's doing photo ops, and the photo ops are almost definitely going to cost $100 a piece.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean because it always is at conventions and stuff. The things is going to cost money. It's just that sometimes it feels like when you while you're there, you really want to get in, on everything because
Yeah.
you can because it's gonna be a while until next time, and yeah, so I would have to do like you, I guess, like limit myself really strictly if I ever went to a horror festival of some kind. But it would be so fun to go. But one thing I would look forward most to, I think, is being able to see, festival or convention screenings of movies or stuff like that if they have that, and because that is what. Wait, the only confirmed guest on one of the sci-fi cons this year is the dude who played Vader in Rogue One. Yeah, that's just sad. Oh God, I think last year Kane Hodder was here. I couldn't go then, which is kind of sad. But the only confirmed guest is the dude that plays Vader in Rogue One. God damn, Sweden, step up your game.
Yeah, that's a little rough.
Yeah, no one wants to fly here. It's like no, but so I've been looking at some news this week, having Bloody and Disgusting open and Dead Entertainment, and I saw that we were once again let down by the news that Friday the 13th isn't in production, like a remake or whatever by Blumhouse. That there is a possibility that they can make it in the future. But there was one journalist somewhere that just spread that it was already in production.
No, there is nothing in production with Friday the 13th. There is no script. There is nothing going on.
No, because you had Paramount. Yeah, I know, because Paramount removed it from their list, because there was this list of movies last year that they had coming up for this year, and Friday the 13th was originally on there, but it was removed.
Yeah, that was months and months ago.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure where someone got that idea. I guess clicks, of course. Monster Mania, yeah.
Yeah, that's the convention with, and that's the guest list currently for the one I'm going to in March.
Yeah, right.
It is one of the best lineups I've ever seen.
Yeah, you got Tim Curry, John Carpenter, all of the kid actors from It, basically.
Yeah, just about almost all of them.
Yeah. Uh, Andrew McCarthy, Joe Pantoliano, Steve Dash, Kane Hodder, Ted White, and C.J. Graham. Like, you're having four Jasons?
Five, actually. Ken Kersinger as well, and they're all in costume for photo ops.
Oh, fuck you. Tim Curry alone will make me want to go. Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously. And, well, fucking five Jason Voorheeses in costume for photo ops. Yeah, all my money would go there. Like,
and that, just keep scrolling down. There's more.
It's Seth Snyder, Grant Kramer, Mike Martinez, the Killer Clowns, right. Tony Todd. Fuck.
In costume.
Yeah. Oh, Sid Haig. Really?
In costume.
Yeah. Scott Jackson, Ken Hazer, or whatever. Buzz Hassan, Blair Smith. Yeah, this was a good lineup, dude. I would.
They're not done yet. There's more guest announcements coming this week too.
We're just getting started. Holy shit! Yes, Sean Astin this morning too. Awesome. This lineup is so worth it to just go. I mean,
I didn't even know they announced him. I knew they were supposed to announce somebody else. I didn't realize they did it already. Oh yeah, not 6 minutes ago.
What? Yes, a second. I had to fix my cat. she was stuck in my green screen. Yeah, but wow, that sounds like a great lineup to go to. There's so much, even if you don't get photos with them from everyone, just seeing them, being close to them.
Yep. Yeah, they just added Sean Astin and Tom Morga, who played the Roy and Jason in Friday the 13th Part 5, as another in costume photo op. So we're gonna have 6 Jasons in costume.
That is fucking awesome. Like, that is really, really awesome.
As of right now, we're only missing Derek Mears. He's the only other Jason alive who's not on this convention right now.
Yeah, and chances are still that he might, just pop up when they.
Yeah, he was at the last one, and he's probably the nicest guy I've ever met. He's huge and scary looking, but he's a big teddy bear.
Big teddy bear that plays a like lunatic morality serial killer. It's awesome. But it seems like a lot of horror actors that play really scary parts are really really nice. Like it, like they are genuinely nice. Yes, book a flight
Yeah,
to Philadelphia, Tar. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna do that, and well, yeah, that sounds cheap. No, but so you do write for Dead Entertainment, which is a kind of recently started horror site, right?
yes. It's actually started by a in real life friend of mine. Um, him and his brother is the webmaster,
Yeah, all right.
and I didn't, they had been talking about doing it for a while. I just never thought it was gonna, come to fruition. And then, one day about I don't know, probably about a month and a little more than a month ago, um, they said, we're getting ready to launch the site, so start getting some shit together to, some content. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, awesome. I haven't written anything for a website since Diabolical Dominion went down, probably 13, 14 years ago. So it was nice to be able to showcase some of my writing again on a website.
yeah, and you do cover horror movies and video games, as I
Yes. Yep.
see it right now.
We cover horror movies, video games. If anybody is looking to try to get their writing out there, we do accept submissions
Yeah,
for up and coming writers. I'm going to be doing a lot of convention coverage for March for the website. There's going to be a lot of videos. I'm going to try to record all the panels with all the guests.
yeah.
There's going to be a lot of good stuff. There might be a giveaway or two as well. So we cover quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean it's always always nice with newer horror sites. I think, like, so you can get a wider view from a wider, range of writers. Because everyone has their own opinion on horror movies and stuff like that. If you ever go on Twitter and discuss horror movies, there's like, if you say one movie is good, 20 other people will just assault you with why you are a stupid fuck. And it's like, all right, I just rather read some other writers' pieces on things instead of getting anonymous accounts attacking me for liking a certain movie in a certain franchise. Like, if you just write out like Jason Goes to Hell, and you say like, I like that movie. I swear to God, people search that phrase. People search that phrase "Jason Goes to Hell" on Twitter and just looks up people that like that movie just to put them down. Like, it's ridiculous. So it's really nice with websites that have actual articles that you can write, where you can read different writers' opinions on movies instead of engaging in an all-out battle on the internet. So you got. So I saw here that you also covered. Well, not you, but one of the writers of the site covered the video "Scream" by the Misfits, which might be maybe one of my favorite music videos of all time. But it's also directed by George A. Romero, so it's not that weird, I guess.
Yeah, a couple of the writers are huge Misfit fans on the site. They try to see them, whenever they happen to come around. I know Danzig actually just wrapped up a like Misfits reunion tour.
Yeah, that fucker didn't come here though, did he? No, but yeah, but I'm a massive fan of the Misfits. I was so surprised to see a new article about the band. I usually consider it kind of dead, uh, but because the new stuff sucks. And uh, well, you seem to have yeah. I want to tell you, are you a fan of Hellraiser as in the movies?
I do. I really enjoy the first two movies. I was a big fan of the book, The Hellbound Heart. Just an overall big Clive Barker fan. But for the movies, I love part one. I love part two. And I'm probably one of the rare people who actually really enjoys part three. The rest of them I could care less about. I think the rest of them are pretty terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people that can watch the rest of them just for, the Cenobites or, the general gore. But as movies go, they aren't really good. But yeah, one, two, and three, I would agree, are really great movies. And as you said, the novel is really good too. People should really read that a lot more.
Yes, it's definitely it's worth it. I mean, it's the movie is definitely not exactly the same, but it really captures the essence of what Clive Barker, the story he was trying to tell.
Yeah, I know because whenever I watch the first Hellraiser, something that always stick to me is the whole resurrection scenes.
Yes.
How disgusting they actually are. Like when he just crawls around without skin and shit, it always gives a slight disgust feeling in me. It doesn't matter how many times I see it. It's so disgustingly well done. And I mean, the whole idea of killing people so he can resurrect himself because he's in hell is just so absurd. Like, and I always thought when I watched the movies, I was like, what the fuck are the police in the area doing? Like, people must go missing like crazy right now. Like, what is it? Is it like the ninth victim this week? Like, someone please call the detectives. Like, yeah, but yeah, that is a really great movie. I usually hold up Hellraiser as a movie that kind of breaks the boundaries a bit. It kind of opened up horror for new ideas because it's rather late. What is it? 1989. Yeah, so it's kind of late on the train, but it also kind of breaks the mold from horror movies from the 80s. It goes in a new direction and tries out new stuff.
Yeah, it was the first Hellraiser was 1987.
1987, yeah, not 1989. But I always think that when it comes to horror movies, you always have these movies that are kind of staples, Uh, it comes a movie that breaks the mold, and then other movies after that, are more courageous in trying stuff. And then it goes a little bit down in a stale, and then another movie comes out that breaks the mold, and new movies tries to, top that, and then it goes into stale. I think the latest stale I consider we had in horror movies is found footage.
Yes, I can't stand it.
Like the Blair Witch Project came out, and then everyone realized I don't need 300,000 to make a movie. I need like $100 and a camera that I found in the basement, and I can make a horror movie. There are so many shit found footage horror movies out there, and I waded through them all. It's like, fuck me. That is hours upon hours, like days I won't get back. It's like,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them either. There's actually been one or two that I did really enjoy. There's one called Frankenstein's Army, which is a really, really fun one.
yeah,
If you haven't seen that one, I would suggest checking it out.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
need to
found
do that.
it's a found footage movie that takes place during World War II. It's pretty crazy.
That sounds awesome. Like,
Yeah, it's
I mean, I usually like found footage not because they're great movies, but because they're so easy to just put on, and like you just have it while you work on other stuff. You just have it on, and I mean, none of them have original ideas. It's like they go to a place where there are ghosts, and for some reason the ghosts are actually aliens, and they get taken up up on this flying saucer in the end or something. I mean, there's so many of those. It's
but the audience likes them. I mean, look at the Paranormal Activity movies. Those they're still making those. I didn't think any of them were any good, but they make money, so they're going to keep making them.
yeah, I kind of feel like they are uh like like Paranormal Activity. When it came out, I thought it was kind of a fun idea, but then they never go anywhere with it. It's like they do 5 movies and never go anywhere with it. And to follow the story of those movies, it's like it's convoluted as fuck. I don't
Yeah.
even know if they themselves know what the fuck they're doing with it. It's like and it always surprises me that so many people like those movies. But yeah, I guess that's just how shit works. If you can reproduce that, it's like I like Final Destination because those are fun as fuck to watch. But a lot of other people that like Paranormal Activity, they say like, yeah, Final Destination, yes, bad. I'm like, you like Paranormal Activity. Like, you have no right to say that Final Destination is bad. Like, yeah,
I like I for the most part I enjoy most of the Final Destination movies. I think they're entertaining. I mean, they're each movie is just a rehash of the last one, but I do think that they're for the most part pretty interesting, well put together movies, especially when you compare them to something garbage like Paranormal Activity.
yeah, I mean, they're solid, and it's always fun to see in what way people die. Like, I always enjoy a slasher. There are certain slashers that are really bad, uh, but for the most part, slashers. I like it a little bit when slashers are done a little more with a sense of self awareness in a way, and when they do not take themselves super serious all the time, because that opens up a little bit more to a little more creative death scenes, so to speak. Like, imagine if all Friday the 13th movies were always super serious when they wrote it. It wouldn't be as fun. Or if Nightmare on Elm Street always, when they wrote it, was super duper dark and serious. It wouldn't be as fun to watch it.
Um,
Because, I mean, all of them are, of course, serious movies. But I like when you throw in a little bit of a, what do you call it? When it comes to slashers, you always have that kind of a little bit dumbness. Like, you write the characters dumber than a normal human would be. I think the movie Cabin in the Woods kind of captures that the best. How you write a slasher, like you just make them dumber. Maybe we have a. Do we have an interruption in the call? Yeah, I think we might have some technical difficulties.
Hey,
Hey, yeah,
all right, sorry about that.
yeah. No, it went silent. So
But as I was saying, I was always a fan of the darker, especially the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, the darker versions of those movies. Part one and part two, especially. I think he's at his darkest in part two and New Nightmare. I always liked them way more than especially Dream Warriors. I know Dream Warriors is the fan favorite of the franchise, and I don't
yeah,
know why,
yeah.
but
No, yeah. I don't. I would agree with you on that one because I think Dream Warriors gets a little bit too silly. Like, you know, that whole scene when he stands over the asylum when he's super big. You know, when he plays with their muscle tissues and stuff.
oh, it is the marionette scene, yeah.
Yeah, while the marionette scene, when focused on the victims, is kind of disturbing, right? When they focus on Freddy being all big, and I was like, no, no, don't do that. That's just silly. No, but I agree with you. When they are dark, I'm alright with it. But I also like when they have this when in the middle of a dark movie and they throw in this kind of stupid death. Like I don't know, but I think Cabin in the Woods capture it so good. Like when he tries to escape with the motocross, and he tries to jump over the hole, and he just hits the electrical fence. It's perfect. It's it's great, and everyone that doesn't like that movie, I don't know, I love it. I feel like a lot of horror would fare better. Well, a lot of horror fans would fare better if they could just take it a little bit less serious at times.
Well, I guess it depends on the franchise and the movie you're watching. I mean, you can't go into a Hatchet movie and going to try to take it completely serious.
No, no. That- yeah, Hatchet. I love Hatchet. It's brilliant in its stupidity. It's just it's brilliant. Oh, there's a new Hatchet coming out, right?
Yes, it's Hatchet 4. It's called Victor Crowley. It'll be out on Blu-ray and DVD sometime in February. I think early February.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I hope it's good. I don't think I've heard anything bad about it, but
No, I mean, we were supposed to go see it, but then shit got in the way, and all of us who were supposed to go see it, none of us. We had tickets for it and everything, and we missed it.
oh,
Um,
that
but
sucks.
but everything we've read about it, I mean, people are calling it the best Hatchet movie in the series. So I'm looking forward to it, and I know a lot of my friends are looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, because something that I like, I mean, if we say it like this, if hey Dorian, how are you doing? If you have a franchise that is established as very dark or whatever, sure, you can't just derail into comedy. I mean that would be stupid. But I feel like a lot of these older slasher movies kind of get self conscious after like 3 or 4 movies. It's like Friday the 13th definitely have some kill scenes that are so weird. Like when Jason just folds the bed together. That scene always like gets me a lot because it's super dumb. It's like, who wrote this? No, but hey, Brad, how you doing? No, but so what would you consider your favorite horror franchise if you were to pick one?
I mean, it's easily Friday the 13th. I've been into the series since I was a kid. I've met literally everybody from the films at least once, and I easily know more about the franchise than anybody else I know. I've just put so much time into that franchise, and it's why I like movies like Jason Goes to Hell as much as I do, just because it's so much different than every other movie leading up to it that it made me just absolutely fall in love with it.
Yeah, I
But
mean, yeah,
yeah, it's just that franchise. I think that franchise is just it's it managed to stand the test of time. It's still relevant today, and we even got a pretty good remake out of it. I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street can't say the same thing. So
oh god, that remake. I wanted to jump out of my window when I watched it because holy fuck, that one is bad. That's like I don't know what they thought they could do because whatever Nightmare on Elm Street remake is, it's not good. It's but yeah, Friday the 13th remake. It's all right. It's a movie that I pop in once in a while. It's I think the only mistake they did with it was trying to cram too many of the movies into one, story wise, so to speak, and then have an additional story of Sam Winchester looking for his sister. Well, his name is not Sam Winchester, but he plays Sam Winchester. And well, yeah, I think it's kind of good. It got some couple of good scenes in it, and it was not a terrible remake at all. And all the other all the older movies of Friday the 13th also kind of works. I saw that there is this Ultimate Friday the 13th collection on Blu-ray. I don't know if I can order it, but I will try.
yeah, just don't look at the cover of that Blu-ray collection, because the cover art is the worst cover art they could have possibly have chosen. It includes a mask that Jason never wore in any movie ever.
Really?
Um, yeah, if you take a look at the mask, it's it's actually very close to the Part Five mask, but the Part Five mask had blue triangles. Well, this one is the Part Five mask with red triangles. It's so strange.
Oh yeah, wait. I'm looking at it right now. It's on Amazon. The Ultimate Collection. Yeah, that's a yeah. That that is a strange one. What? Why?
Yeah, I don't know who designed that, but they need to get fired. Yeah, that's the Part Five mask with red triangles. They're supposed to be like baby blue or light blue for Part Five.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, and also, is that supposed to be a machete in an angle? Because it kind of looks.
It looks like he's holding the blade.
Yeah, yeah. First of all, he's holding the blade. I mean, he is holding the blade. There is no way around that. And the machete is in an angle, so it looks really short. So it kind of looks like a meat chopper instead. And
Yeah, it kind of almost looks like a little bit longer of a pig splitter. Sure.
yeah, it's really small compared to his face.
Yeah, whoever did this cover art, as I said, needs to be fired. It's awful.
And is that a ring? Is Jason married?
No, I don't think that's a ring. I think that's just like some bad glaring effects that they were trying to add in to more detail, and it just failed.
All right. Wow, that was horrible. Yeah, it's like you buy it and then you just tape your own print on it.
Yeah,
Like,
you can draw something better than that. It's very simple.
it's like it would have been better if they just put. Yeah, that's horrible. And also all of this red. Wouldn't it have been much better if they just had the Camp Crystal Lake sign on the cover, so they didn't have to choose one Jason?
Yeah,
And they
you
didn't,
know,
and they didn't even choose an actual Jason.
nope.
It's just weird. I would have gone with the Camp Crystal Lake sign, and maybe a machete and some blood splatter, maybe something like that. When you design for like how many movies is it? Is it 8 movies?
Yeah, it doesn't include the New Line movies or the remake.
Oh right, yeah, okay. So it's a so it's the ultimate collection, but not that ultimate. But yeah, but I know there has been problems for them to make a DVD collection for Friday the 13th because literally everyone owns it. It's like there are so many people involved in making those movies, like, and no one likes to talk to each other, and it's like super weird.
Well, I mean, there actually was another Blu-ray collection of all of the movies. Came out a couple of years ago, but it's almost impossible to find now. And when you do find it, it goes for anywhere from $300 to $500.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I tried to order it, but I didn't get it because Amazon is like, "No, we don't want to send shit to Sweden," and I'm like, "All right."
Damn.
Well, some stuff they send, but not a lot of stuff. Like it's kind of random. I don't know why it is like that because I successfully ordered an HDMI splitter once, and then I tried to order DVDs, and I was like, nope, 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 can't send it to Sweden. No, I was like, aw.
That's a little depressing.
Yeah, although I think Amazon is going to establish here eventually. So, hey, Exodus, how you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Other news to talk about. What do you think of the movie titled The Meg?
I think it's the most ridiculous title ever, and I'm looking forward to the movie because I was a fan of the book back in the late '90s. I thought the book was really, really good, and this movie has been in production hell for like 10 years. Like every time it was supposed to, they had a script and it was supposed to start filming it, something would happen, and then it would just like disappear. You'd never hear from it again. And now that we're actually getting it, I'm pretty damn excited. I just wish they would change the name just back to Meg instead of The Meg. It just sounds awkward.
I mean, I love shark movies, so the title doesn't matter. I'm gonna watch it, right? Because I love shark movies. But holy shit, when I first saw that title, I was like, you need to fire someone. Like, like I know it's built on a book, which makes sense. But then the book title maybe makes more sense because I don't know the book. Maybe they called the shark Meg, which I mean I don't know because obviously they named the shark after Megalodon, but the Meg is. I mean, it sounds like Meg from Family Guy is some kind of monster in it. Like the Meg. Like I can never get it out of my head. Shut up, Meg. I just,
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of get that vision too.
yeah, it's but I'm looking forward to it. Shark movies is always interesting. So yeah, a fuck ton of them are horrible, obviously, but it's always interesting seeing. She can totally be a monster when she wants to be. Yeah, yeah, she's pretty horrible. But what do you expect from a child of Peter Griffin? It's like they should all be suicidal. It's impossible to live in that family. But yeah, and I also mentioned before you got here that it has made $700 million in the box office, which that is kind of impressive for a horror movie today.
Yeah, it's impressive, honestly, for any rated R movie, but especially because of that it's straight up horror. It's really unprecedented for any rated R movie to make that much money.
Yeah, it's an insane amount, and especially, I mean, I understand that Stephen King's It is popular. It's always been popular, even with the TV movie from the '90s with Tim Curry. But it's always kind of interesting when it comes to it that very few has read the book, even though it's so popular. Like Pennywise is really popular, and everything is really popular. But if you ever mention the awkward underage things going on in the novel because Stephen King was like high on cocaine and drank a lot during the time he wrote it, people are like, what is that in the book? And I was like, yeah, the book is really fucking weird. It's like the book really reads like someone storing cocaine and drinking alcohol. I mean, that is how the book is. It's amazing that someone can transcript that into a screenplay. It's amazing, frankly.
Well, he actually puts a lot of that kind of weird child sexuality in a lot of his books. It's just like probably the most prominent in it, but there's a lot of it in a lot of his other books.
Yeah, it is. I know it is, but the reason why it stands out is because it's so graphical. It's like there isn't even a hint, you know. It's just one page you're reading about that, and you wish you never read that page. It's like, and but I mean the whole book as how it's written, you know, is it's a mess. It's like 1,200 pages of. I mean, as I said, someone putting together a screenplay of that and making a movie out of that, that's a fucking champion. Because it's so many pages of just thoughts of characters and stuff like that. And thoughts of characters is Stephen King's train of thoughts, which is not easy to follow. But I really like this movie adaptation of it. And I hope that part two will hold up, hopefully, as well.
I am looking forward to it immensely. I can't wait for it. It would be cool if maybe they got some of the child actors from the original It miniseries to have cameos in.
Yeah, that would be cool. And I feel like something I would like if would be if they kind of touch a little bit more on the subject of it and not just Pennywise. Like trying to go what it is. Like I know that is a difficult one to do.
Yeah, I don't know if they have enough time in a movie to really cover that one.
Because that is some Lovecraftian shit right there. Like that is I know that, but it would be cool if they could do it, or if they had some maybe, or if they, I don't know. It's hard because I'm not a movie maker, so I don't know how they think about it. But when we're talking about Stephen King, there is also a new Pet Cemetery in the works, a remake of that.
Yeah, and I think it's about time. I'm a big fan of the original Pet Cemetery. I don't think there was one thing wrong with that movie. That movie was as close to horror perfection as you get, especially when when you add Fred Gwynn into a movie. It's just like it's automatically a good movie with Fred Gwynn.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
And I'm actually a fan of Pet Cemetery too, as bad as it is, it happens to be. It's like a guilty pleasure for me. I enjoy it. I think it's a funky movie that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's fun.
Yeah, I
So
mean, yeah, I
I'm
guess. I guess. I mean, I don't like it, but I can see why it is. As you said, a guilty pleasure. Because it's really weird. The movie is really weird, and I was just, how do you even make a sequel to Pet Cemetery? And well, they tried. Like, um, I, 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 it was a long time since I watched it though, so I should probably give it another watch.
you're not missing anything. It was just another bad Edward Furlong movie. So
Yeah, but as you said, the first Pet Cemetery is as close to horror perfection as. First of all, it's by far one of the best Stephen King movies.
yes,
Especially considering how bad many of them actually were. Um, and it's genuinely a good movie. Like it's scary, it's disturbing. Like I remember the first time I watched it, and you actually realize that that little child got run over, and how that is like, oh shit, like, oh, I died. That because usually in movies kids don't die, and everything and every practical effect in it is so disgusting.
yeah, it's just a fun movie from beginning to end. And I mean, if you're going to talk about other good Stephen King movies, I mean, you always got to include Misery.
Yeah, Misery is amazing as well. I also like maybe the lesser known ones like Thinner.
Thinner was an interesting one. I remember when that one came out. It was definitely creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy. I obviously read the novel as well, but yeah, that one is good. And I mean, there is those Stephen King movies you talk about that it's actually good. Like Pet Cemetery. You got Misery. You got Christine. And stuff like that. But what about those really fucking bad ones? Like there is,
Maximum Overdrive.
yeah, Maximum Overdrive, The Lawnmower Man, which has nothing to do with the novel. It's just we took the name and made another movie. And then you have what is it called? Tommy Knockers is not a particularly good movie.
No, it's
It,
not.
it's like it's really not. It's like cat people invaded Earth, and I was like, I don't care about cat people. It's like
I mean, for every good Stephen King movie, there's probably 3 to 4 bad ones.
yeah, I mean, and I mean, I loved the movie The Mist when it came out. It's I mean, it's a good low budget horror. Uh, Definitely interesting, but I haven't seen the TV series. Have you seen that?
Which one?
The Mist.
I have not.
I'm too scared to watch it. Like because I really like the movie and I really like the novel, and I was like, how the fuck do you do that novel into a series? Like seriously, it's like when I reacted the first time they said they're gonna make 3 Hobbit movies. And I was like, how do you make that book into 3 movies? And then I watched the movies, and I was like, oh, that's how you do it. You fuck it up.
Yeah, you just add so much garbage, filler, and bullshit.
Yeah.
Characters that didn't even exist in the book, and yeah, there we go.
And some weird love stories and shit. It's The Mist again recently. It certainly has its moments. I checked out the first 2 episodes of the TV. It sucked. Well, The Mist is a kind of a short novel. I think it's in one of his novel collections. So it's not really long. That's why I wonder how the hell you make a series out of it, because they they always focus on weird stuff when they make series out of stuff that doesn't really have that much more material to it. Because the whole thing with the Mist is that we don't know anything about it. Like, you don't really get a resolution. It just
Yeah.
ends. The Mist just ends. The military clean up their mistake, and we still know nothing about it. And that's kind of the point with it. So I don't know what they're gonna dwell into a TV series. It's like like The Mist would be one episode of X-Files. Uh, or the origins of the Mist would be a good point. Yeah, it would be a good point to touch on, but the thing with the Mist is that you're not supposed to touch on it. Like, you could touch on the subject of where the mist comes from, which obviously is a military experiment of, interdimensional traveler or some shit. But I don't think that you can really dwell into it without it turning into crap. Uh, yeah, so no. Oh, there is a new Day of the Dead movie coming out. Have you looked into that? Day of the Dead Bloodline.
Yeah, God. So when not talking about my favorite franchise, my favorite like all around horror movie probably is 1985's Day of the Dead. I absolutely loved everything about that movie. I watch that movie multiple times a year. It's just one of my all-time favorite movies. They
Yeah.
remade Day of the Dead once, and I think back in 2008.
Yeah,
And
yeah, the one with the military girl.
yeah, Mina
Yeah,
Savari,
yeah,
who
yeah,
I'm actually a very big fan of. I love Mina Savari, so
yeah. I like her too.
I was like, all right, maybe this is gonna be an okay movie. No, it was the worst movie
It
ever.
it doesn't have much to do with Day of the Dead. Like,
No,
it was like I was like, how is this a remake and not an entirely new installation? Because it's nothing to do with the original movie at all. And yeah, I agree with you. The original Day of the Dead is great, and they made a Day of the Dead that I have on DVD that is called Day of the Dead Continuum, I think.
all right. So that one was actually supposed to be a prequel to the original Night of the Living Dead.
Oh right, because uh, what is it called? Contagium, Continuum.
Contagium, yeah.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a prequel to Night of the Living Dead. Why they named it Day of the Dead, I don't know. But it has nothing to do with Day of the Dead.
No, it doesn't. But it's just a really bad movie. It's like I I I mean, there are some fun things to it, maybe. I don't know, but they find a coffee thermos in the woods, and that thermos has the virus or something, and they are at a home for um, people that are handicapped or something like that. I have it on DVD. It's like
I'm sorry. Sorry, you spent money on it.
well, it was one of these, buy 3 movies, pay for 2 bins.
Oh, okay.
And I found it. So I was like, oh, look, Day of the Dead 2 Contagion. I need that. And then I watched it and I was like, I don't need that. I did not need that at all. But the new one, is that supposed to actually be a Day of the Dead movie? Or
It I mean, it's going to be somewhat similar to Day of the Dead. I mean, there's a bub like character. I think his name is Max, but he was like he's some kind of weird human zombie hybrid. And I've already read a review or two, and it sounds dreadful. It's got some weird stuff going on in this movie.
I mean, I can appreciate weird stuff. It's like, but yeah, I want. Exodus asks, I wonder how World War C two is going to be. It's going to be shit like the first movie. Uh, no, I'm just kidding. It's World War C. When that came out, I wasn't expecting much of a zombie film, and I think that we didn't get a whole lot of a zombie film either. It was I could predict it being very much Brad Pitt is awesome, and somehow he's super good at surviving a zombie apocalypse. Um, but yeah, I watched what do you Day of the Dead. No, yeah, yeah, no. I rewatched all of the Dead movies a couple of weeks back, and I rewatched Diary of the Dead, and I was like,
Okay.
and that movie is like a found footage movie.
Yeah, it's a found footage movie, and I do believe it does take place. I mean, it's a Romero movie. It does
Yeah,
take place in the rest of the dead world. I don't think it was actually that bad of a movie. It wasn't great, but it definitely wasn't awful. I do enjoy watching it. If I happen to see it on somewhere, I'll watch it. I think it's decent.
yeah. I was gonna say that. I mean, I know it got a bad reputation, that movie, but that's just because you compare it to Dawn of the Dead or Day of the Dead. Like, yeah, but I think what's that other one called? Is it called Island of the Dead? Is it
Survival of the Dead, I think.
Survival of the Dead? Yeah. I mean,
That one was not very good.
no, that one was weird. Uh, I was like, but that one is a Romero movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Island of the Dead. But I kind of always enjoy Romero movies, so I don't mind them. I like the remake of Dawn of the Dead as well. I think the one I like the least is Island of the Dead, and I'm not a super fan of Land of the Dead.
Neither am I. You got a movie. It's got Dennis Hopper. It's got John Leguizamo, who I'm a massive, massive fan of, and it felt very awkward to me.
I mean, yeah, to me it felt like they tried to force in the idea of a Bob character again, like
Oh, the Big Daddy character.
yeah, yeah, Big Daddy is called, and I don't know why, because I mean, it made sense in the story, but it wasn't really well written in the same sense, because the interesting thing with Bob is that he is an actual research project that they work on extensively, and this guy they just find pouring gas into fucking nothing, and he's apparently the most intelligent zombie in the whole world, and then he starts to lead some kind of revolution or something. I don't know. I didn't really like it, uh, but overall, what do you think of the zombie genre? Because I would separate it a little bit. Um,
It needs a break. It's gotta.
it's
We've gotten too much too soon. I mean, there was a time where you couldn't buy a zombie movie. Now anywhere you look, there's a brand new awful zombie movie, and it's about time we take a break from them.
Yeah, I would say I agree with you. While I like zombie movies, it's that kind of genre that gets really overdone really fast. And I mean, the, I mean, I think that if you're gonna make a zombie movie today, you need some new ideas, like like how 28 Days Later was a nice new take a bit on a zombie movie, especially since the fast zombies and it's more like a rabies disease instead of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I loved that movie. That was a great movie.
And yeah, and you have the whole subplot with the army trying to, recreate civilization by invoking some kind of fascist home. And I mean, I kind of like that because, it dwells a little bit into humanity and how humans work under critical situations. And yeah, Walking Dead hype brought about or was part of a revival not too long ago as well, right? Yeah, the Walking. I think the Walking Dead happened at the peak of the reboots of zombie genre, and then kind of just spilled over everything, everywhere is zombies, games, zombies everywhere. It's like what we really need, I think, is a good vampire movie. That was
Yeah, I agree. We haven't had one in a very long time. Um,
and a good
I
werewolf movie, like werewolves and vampires, and good ones, not bad ones, not Twilight. Fuck Twilight.
it's I mean, I can't even think of the last good vampire movie I saw aside from Let the Right One In, and that was years and years ago when that came out.
Yeah, that's true. I did see the Swedish version of that movie.
No, that's well, the American version was called Let Me In.
Oh,
The
right.
the Swedish version was the original version called Let the Right One In.
Yeah, all right. Then we saw the same movies. Like, yeah, because I saw that. That one is good. That is good. But like, good werewolf movies. Fuck, you have to go back. I don't know.
Couple years, Ginger Snaps, Dog Soldiers.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Uh, but but it's so hard because I kind of liked the remake of Wolfman, but
It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it definitely wasn't bad. It was much better than all the Frankenstein remakes we've gotten in the last 20 years.
yeah, it was. I would like a new. I would love a new Howling. Um,
Yes, it was a great series.
yeah, that was a great. And I mean, while it didn't end up as a good series, one always has to mention An American Werewolf in London when it comes to werewolf movies. Um, the sequel to that movie can go die in a bin fire, uh, but the first one there is really cool, mostly because the transition scene is still one of the best I think that's been made. Mostly
Yep.
because I don't know, there was so much feeling in that transition scene, and then you had Bad Moon Rising with Creedence Clearwater Revival playing, and it's just perfect. It's wonderful. I
I
can't.
agree. It's just a great movie all around, and it still holds up very well today.
Werewolf. I can only recall that one with Mike. Teen Wolf. Get the fuck out of here. Teen Wolf. Come on, Exodus. Ugh. But yeah, werewolf movies, and yeah, something that we had a surge in the 2000s with supernatural ghost movies. Like, a woman moves into a home. That home has a scary past, and there's like 300 million of them. And I think that can we make ghosts scary again? Is that possible, or is it already down the drain?
I never found ghosts scary to begin with. I mean, even the older ghost movies, Poltergeist and stuff. I was
Yeah,
never they never really did it for me. I've just never been a fan of the genre.
yeah. I rewatched the original Poltergeist a while back because I saw the remake, and I was like, ugh. And then I rewatched the first one, and I was like, yeah, I don't really like this movie very much because I think it's weird. It goes in such a weird direction. It goes from a ghost movie into this whole other dimension thing. It's just super weird. The Conjuring 2. All the Conjuring movies are worth watching just because they are actually good movies. I wouldn't say they're scary, but they have good actors and the good the cinematography, good sound effects, stuff like that. They're really good movies, and they're putting out the new one, The Nun, which
Yes.
I found that one I was a little bit surprised when it was announced because isn't The Nun just in one scene in The Conjuring too?
I think so. I watched both of those movies once, and I didn't care for them. I watched them just because everybody was raving about them. I didn't like them.
No, no. I mean, I watch them. I find them as good productions. Like I don't find them that interesting. But then I saw The Nun being announced, and I was like, isn't that literally just one scene in a couple of seconds in the second Conjuring movie where we see that character, and now she gets a whole new movie?
I guess
Like,
so.
yeah, and I saw Annabelle, the first one. Crap. The second one is better, but I don't know. It's going into spin-off territory, and they just keep spawning spin-offs from the same movie. And I don't know how long that can hold up. But one movie I saw with the main actor of The Conjuring, the male actor, what is his name? Is it Patrick Wilson? Yeah, Patrick Wilson. One movie he did that is really, really awesome is Bone Tomahawk. It's
Yes.
that
Kurt
movie.
Russell.
Yeah, with Kurt Russell. Yeah, that movie is great. I was really surprised when I saw it, like how good it was. And it's just I love Western. I want more Western horror. Like that would be awesome. Not seen many puppet horror movies aside from Chucky, Annabelle, and the Puppet
Well,
Master series.
there is a new Puppet Master. It's not coming out in theaters, but it will come out on Blu-ray and VOD. It's called The Littlest Reich. That'll be out pretty soon. I think a couple more months.
That's always interesting. I haven't seen and I haven't seen Cult of Chucky because for some reason it wasn't released on Swedish Netflix. So I got robbed of that one. Uh,
That sucks. That's a great, great movie.
yeah, I was like, all right, it's gonna be released on Netflix, and I was like, holy shit, I can actually see this movie. And then it was released, and I was, nah, not Swedish Netflix. Go fuck yourself. And I was like, oh, fuck you, Regions. Hey, Warlord. Yay! Yay! I got a message from Exodus yesterday telling me that Rusty Lake Part 3 is out, so I'm gonna get that game really soon. After I play Dark Souls 1 again, and then again, and then again. No. But yeah, I will get that game soon. Well, I think, well, that is gonna be about it for today. I want to thank you for joining me and talking with me today.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's been really fun. This podcast is going to be uploaded to YouTube tomorrow, and so you can see there. I'm gonna edit it, but Twitch has the 24-hour exclusive on my content since I am affiliate. So upload it there tomorrow. But thank you, Bates, for coming by. And if you wanna look up who this guy is, which I'm sure you're gonna wanna do, I'm gonna link his channels in the chats in 3 seconds. I gotta find it. Uh, let's see. Didn't you have a video up like today? Why is the YouTube subscription box sucky? It's so selective on what it chooses. Bates' YouTube channel is here. He streams from that channel as well. So you can see that. I think you have other. Don't you have another channel as well?
I restream when I stream on YouTube. I also restream on Mixer.
All right. What is that Mixer?
Mixer it's sort of like a Twitch format.
Oh yeah. It's a streaming platform.
Yep.
Yep. Pretty much. I gave Bates a follow on Twitter. Yes, you can follow him there. I will add his link in the chat right now. And I will thank you everyone for coming by today. And thank you, Bates, for joining me in. And I hope we maybe get to talk in the future as well.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever you want, man. Just let me know and we'll set something up.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming by. I will see you guys on Wednesday. And, well, I'm always on Twitter ranting about shit. So if you want to talk to me there or Bates, we are on Twitter, both of us. And, well, I will see you guys around.
Later, guys. Thank you again for having me, man. Appreciate it.